Hey there boys and girls, this time not Xenon but Phoenix Fire here from the channel FierceBirdOfFlame. Xenon has offered me the opportunity to showcase one of my videos on his channel again, for which I'm definitely grateful. But before we kick off, let me explain a bit what I'm about. In order to differentiate myself from other YouTubers, I first attempt to narrate my videos using the broad spectrum of the English language. Examples are synonyms and all that to keep it interesting, making it more of a story, if you will. Secondly, I strive to use lesser known Pokemon or uncommon strategies in my teams, not only to prove that these can work if you keep your head in the game and plan accordingly, but also to provide you, my viewers, unique content. Aside from the narrative to spice things up in the atypical strategies, I also attempt to explain these tactics so that people who watch my videos can learn and improve their own game plan. In short, making players see the merit of certain trains of thought, plus encouraging them to explore their options and craft their own unique teams. I hope this exposition was a bit clear. If you got any more questions, feel free to PM me at my channel. And now that you know me a bit better, let's roll the feature presentation. For today, I'm able to offer you a mixed tier match against Leasim. Studying his team, I speculate that my foe will most likely open with Ambipom. Therefore, I move in Spiritomb to ward myself from boosted fake out or head off any of his attackers with Sucker Punch. With configuration tuned, the match kicks off. As I ready my Pokeball containing Spiritomb, the opponent starts off with Ferrothorn to mine the field with hazards as soon as possible. This warns me that the foe will most likely be stall oriented, shuffling my team and dealing hefty damage with spikes and the likes. Dreading a taunt or Will-O-Wisp, Leasim quickly retreats for Rotom, providing me to burn it with a burn. Contemplating switching to Claydol to render Volt Switch useless, the probability of Hydro Pump was too high to risk my Pokemon in this endeavor. Consequently, I opt for Roserade instead to sponge both attacks or the improbable trick. As my adversary once again dispatches Ferrothorn, I command Roserade to establish my first layer of spikes while Ferrothorn prepares Stealth Rocks. Assuming my foe would carry the Leech Seed Stealth Rock combination, I reckoned he would switch out to prevent Roserade from deploying more spikes. Alas, Ferrothorn stands tall and paralyzes Roserade in the process. Figuring my opponent would remain unfazed, I continue my efforts to spread spikes on his side of the field. Seeing Ferrothorn brandish both spikes and Stealth Rocks instead of Leech Seed, I'm able to bring in my sturdier Pokemon without being undermined by said move. Spotting the opportunity at hand, I swap Roserade out for Claydol while Ferrothorn completes the third layer of spikes. Undaunted in its task, even if Ferrothorn packs the super effective Power Whip attack, Claydol cleans the board of opponent's traps. Despite being mortally wounded by Ferrothorn's assault, Claydol was able to render the foe's entry hazards naught, and thus leaving the way open for its teammates. Eager to preserve my Rapid Spinner, I recall my Pokemon and let Salamence take flight. Determined to undo the damage, Ferrothorn immediately reinstates Stealth Rocks. Positive the opponent will forebode a fire attack, I choose to slam the foe with Dragon Tail to bring his forces into disarray. As Larios takes to the skies, Salamence lands a devastating blow on the enemy, knocking his Pokemon out in a single hit. Vengeful of his loss, my opponent sends out Ferrothorn once more, in the hope Salamence lacks the power to work through its defenses. As I direct Salamence to use Flamethrower, Ferrothorn's mighty Aegis withstands my attack with a sliver of HP, granting Ferrothorn an opening to enfeeble Salamence with Thunder Wave. Debilitated by the loss of speed, I command Salamence to strike the enemy with Dragon Tail, lest he switch to cushion my Flamethrower attack. As Leasim renews his first layer of spikes, the Dragon Tail drags out Ambipom onto the field. Certain Ambipom will want to lash out with Fake Out, Salamence throws up a protective screen to render the hit useless. Even though Fake Out only has paltry base power, Ambipom can deal threatening amount of damage with said attack thanks to its same type attack boost, its Technician ability and possible boosting item. As Ambipom is replaced by Starmie, Salamence once again flings its tail around, but Starmie dodges the attack. Unable to force Starmie out, Salamence must evacuate in fear of Ice Beam, eliminating the dragon from play. As both Rapid Spin and Ice Beam are potential attacks, I exchange Salamence for Spiritomb, who is able to take both as a result of its adequate constitution and ghost typing. As Starmie succumbs to Sucker Punch, the score is now 6 versus 4. Down but not out, my adversary sends in Drapion. Unsure what set it might boast, I return Spiritomb for Salamence, intimidating and thus reducing its attack in the process. As Drapion deploys additional hazards in the form of toxic spikes, the foe is most likely running Whirlwind as well to infect as many Pokemon as it can. Keen on bringing my foe into disarray once more, I press the attack. Meanwhile, Leasim knocks off Salamence's leftovers, degrading my physical wall's effectiveness once more. As Dragontail drafts Fairthorn to the field again, the Pokemon caves in due to the damage by spikes, lowering the score to 6 versus 3. Benched to put a stop to Salamance's onslaught, the foe bites back hard with Ice Fang. As the enemy efforts weigh heavily on Salamence, the dragon wishes upon the stars to aid him once more. Unsure if my opponent desires to attack again, I take my chances and shift Salamence for Claydol to rid the field of hazards, severely diminishing Drapion's value as a phaser. Unbeknownst to me, Elasim promptly thwarts my efforts and utilizes Whirlwind, blowing Claydol out of the park and forcing Spiritomb onto the scene. As my Pokemon takes severe entry damage, Salamence's wish comes true and revitalizes Spiritomb anew for battle. As Drapion places more toxic spikes on the play area, Spiritomb tricks away my foe's item and replaces it with my Choice Band, severely diminishing Drapion's versatility. Even though Drapion does carry physical moves of its own, Spiritomb can still burn the foe with Will-O-Wisp, rendering his creature nearly useless. Not wanting to test his luck again, Drapion is recalled post-haste. Bothered with his misfire, Spiritomb retaliates with Pursuit, dealing as much damage as possible, since Drapion has lost its only means of recovery. As Rotom replaces Drapion and Spiritomb's life breaking down rapidly, I instruct my Pokemon to launch one final Sucker Punch. Despite its valiant effort, Spiritomb is unable to defeat Rotom, allowing the opponent to deluge my Pokemon with Hydro Pump. As Spiritomb bites the dust, the score is at 5 versus 3. Confident Rotom is choice scarfed, I switch in Empoleon to drive the adversary off. Even though a switch was apparent, I still chose to use Scald over Roar, as that attack does provide slim chance of a burn occurring. As Drapion takes Rotom's place, Empoleon promptly vanquishes the monster, thus bringing the score to 5 versus 2. Down to his last two Pokemon, Leasim puts Ambipom into play. Although Fake Out will flinch my Empoleon, its Steel typing allows me to mitigate a great deal of the damage. Uncertain what my opponent might employ next, I stand my ground and give Empoleon the order to attack once more. Unfortunately, Ambipom carries Low Sweep, a new Generation 5 fighting type move that gets boosted to 19 base power thanks to Ambipom's ability Technician. As the foe is able to easily destroy Empoleon with the onset, the scoreboard stands at 4 versus 2. As my fighter charges forward with a quick jab, Ambipom quickly protects itself. Made antsy by this uncommon play, I fear my opponent wishes to outstall Hitmonchan with poison damage. As Ambipom continues to use Protect, my suspicions were confirmed. As Leasim must preserve his hazards in order to win, Ambipom is forced to use U-Turn. Even though it handily annihilates Claydol, U-Turn does cause Ambipom to swap itself out again, submitting it to more entry hazards when it reappears. With only half my team left and Rotom on its last leg, I let Roserade take the field again. As Rotom only has a single turn left due to its burn and not enough power to eliminate Roserade with its attacks, I lay down my final layer of spikes to hamper Ambipom even more. With Rotom burning my Pokemon with its last ounce of strength, the match draws to a close with the score at 3 versus 1. Down to his last Pokemon, I swap Roserade out for Salamence. Not only will Intimidate diminish Ambipom's blows, it will clear Roserade's burn as well. Unable to pull victory out the hat anymore, Ambipom uses Protect to stall the match. As Low Sweep is the best it can muster against Salamence, my Pokemon defeats the opposition with Flamethrower, ending the match in a close 3 versus 0. That was the battle for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to thank Xenon once more for the opportunity to entertain you. If you'd like to see more of these SOS projects or liked my battle, feel free to like, comment and subscribe to Xenon and me, FierceBirdOfFlame. Annotations on the left will allow you to subscribe to Xenon, and the annotations on the right will direct you to my channel. Hope to see you again!